Listen to me clearly. Too many times when we go back and talk about what's going on with our people, it's negative. It's negative. Right? We're going to talk some positivity today. Now, it's going to be some heinous stuff as we go through it, but at the end of it, we're going to give you the positive angle to this. The fact that we can stand as the children of Israel is a spiritual phenomenon. It's a spiritual phenomenon. The Arabs would never tell you this. I don't care how many Qur'ans they present. The Roman Catholic Church and Christian churches will never tell you this. Doesn't matter how peaceful they seem on the surface. God would have to do what? Break through to give us the truth in order for us to connect the dots for our children. So our children do not suffer our generational curses. Jeremiah, Elder Lawya. Stick with me now. How did we lose Jerusalem?
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse number 1.
Come on.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I've spoken unto thee in a book.
Write them in a book. See, this is how we're going to connect the dots for you. Write these words in a book. The book is the Bible. No more, brothers and sisters, will we debate the wicked concerning our validity when it comes to this book. We don't have to debate on that. We can debate on other things, but there's no debate on whether or not I'm a Hebrew. Because they won't talk about that. If I say, listen, let's go into the books, in the history books in the Bible, and let's put up Jewish people, Chinese people, and any other race of people with the curses in this book. And put black and let's all together, black, Chinese, Jewish, white man, and look at the curses in number. And through process of elimination, let's come out to who closely out of all of us fit the curses written of in the Bible. They won't allow that. Because it will be a closed case. So they'll try to go around and nibble around the edges to cause more confusion in our community while their community thrives above us. First of all, we need to stop listening to the enemy altogether. See? Our God told Jeremiah, I need you to write what I'm telling you in a book for your people. Because these other races of people, they have an entirely different plan for you.
All right.
Let's go straight to let's go straight to, real quick, Jeremiah 17 and 5. Let's go.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse number 5. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be man that trusteth in... I need you to go to where it says discontinue from the heritage. Verse 4.
Jeremiah 17 and 4. Read it.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue.
Hold on, Brother Lawyer. We got over 3,000 people in here. Okay? It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Just hit the like button, please, so that it can drive more traffic here, please. If you don't mind. It's only an algorithm thing. I could care less whether or not someone like or dislike it, but you have to do that so that we can overcome the shadow ban. Don't forget, when you come into YouTube, brothers and sisters, they're only promoting mainstream media's information and pages. So they got regular YouTube content creators on a shadow ban where we're not referred like everyone else. So the only reason I'm saying hit the like or dislike button is not that I care about it, because I understand that in order for us to be drived on the page so that others know we exist out there, Y'all have to help us with that. So for those who don't understand why I'm doing it, I'm not doing it. I don't have no need for like buttons. Okay. I could care less whether someone like or dislike what we're teaching. Okay? Because that doesn't change anything. The truth is the truth, whether you or dislike it. Right? Hold on one second. The water. See? So just hit it. Yeah, thank you. Get it up. Please. I mean, doesn't cost. Just hit it's right there. Just hit the button, like or dislike. Get that up to at least 2,500, 3,000 real quick if we can, so that other people can get what you are about to receive. How we lost Jerusalem. Okay? And we're using the regenerification as a case in point of how we continually lose our homeland, our place. The first regenerification happened here when we lost Jerusalem. And I'm going to show you what they're doing in this campaign right now, strategically targeting our people. Because listen to the narrative they're putting out on the news right now. Well, we just have to get enough people who are affected by this. We have to get the stuff in them, and then, the world can go back as normal. After for months saying that our people are the problem, that we're dealing with the most illnesses, we're dealing with everything, so it must be us. A certain number of our people must get the stuff first before the rest of society go back to normal. See that? Folks, I'm going to tell you, folks, this is the same thing that happened with a different campaign that ended with our people dying in number. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse number 4.
Come on.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land that thou knowest not.
I will cause you, Israel. The Bible, God is speaking to Israelites here. I will cause you to do what, Elder Lawya?
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
Thine enemies.
In the land that thou knowest not.
In the land that you know not.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So it was prophesied that we would serve in a land we knew not. So the Most High was giving Jeremiah and the prophets of the Old Testament an insight to what would happen to what? Their children for the disobedience of their fathers. Your children will go into captivity. And guess what? They're not going to know who they are. They're going to discontinue from their heritage. So when someone claim, hold up, y'all can't be Israelites. Y'all don't follow the law. Where's your Hebrew at? And where's your culture at? That would state claim that you're the Israelites. The fact that we don't have an heritage proves we're the people. That's what lost means. The lost tribes of Israel. That's what it means. We lost our heritage, our culture, our code. And without the code, it puts our children at a disadvantage in comparison to other races of children. Because even though they don't have the law, there is a code every race have amongst themselves. And I'm going to repeat this. The first code. There's no other race of people on this earth who has a matriarchy, where the women are making decisions over the man. No other race of people. Chinese people. White people. East Indian people. There's no other races of people where there's this battle between who's going to be in charge. And that's how you discontinue from your heritage, by putting the woman in position as the controller of a community. When really it was the fathers doing what? Laying down the legacy to his son. This is how we discontinue from our heritage. It's not downplaying the position and power of a woman, but a woman is incomplete if a man isn't in charge. And we're the only people who are celebrating this foolishness. We will discontinue from our heritage. Our heritage is what? Our heritage starts with the man. And it's getting the women in order under men. Adam, Seth, Enoch, Methuselah, Noah. Noah had a wife. Ham, Shem, and Japheth had wives, and they were all saved. Through what? Through those men who had a connection with the Father. Noah to Abraham, Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob. And guess what? Abraham, man, there's no greater woman on earth as our mother Sarah, who have ever lived on earth. As Sarah, who was in full obedience to her man. And this is why we can't get ahead, because we're one of the few races of people that have to fight our own helpmate first to get ahead. And that's systematic programming that would discontinue us from our heritage. Am I absolving men? No, I'm not absolving men. But men aren't in charge of our communities. Women are. And any man that try to take charge, he's destroyed in our communities. So let me talk about that. But I'm going to be going into that. Can the black family survive another few years like this? And I'm going to be talking about that in the academy. We're done. When you have black nurses out in front, our women, becoming the mouthpiece for a system that have destroyed us, we're finished. Nurses. And I don't see no white woman doctor or nurses getting in front and telling their families they got to do this. Folks, they got us exactly where they wanted us. Where there's no man to say, listen, you all are out of control. We're going to die if you continue in this position of so-called empowerment. And you're going to kill us in the wake of your emotions. Not understanding this long term, your decisions. You're going to kill our young boys, our young girls, listening to them. Let's go. We will discontinue from our heritage. Read.
That I gave thee.
And
I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land that thou knowest not.
And I will cause you to serve your enemies in a land which thou know not. Read.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Which shall burn forever. So we went into captivity, lost our heritage. Why? Because we broke the laws of God. Christ came and died so that we can have another opportunity. So that we can have another opportunity at this. But only a few will make it through, because the majority will be what? You got it. They will be influenced by the God of this world. They will be empowered to hold on to this kingdom. Only a few is getting in. But Christ gives us an opportunity to do what? To stake claim to the promises given to our fathers. That's the importance of this Bible, and that's the gospel and the good news that were taught by the disciples. Now, why other nations, even though they're evil and wicked and are heathens, eat anything they want and celebrate anything they want, the Gentile nations, why aren't they punished for breaking God's law? People might ask. This is why. Because they'll just say, I accept Jesus, and they'll be fine in this system. Why aren't they suffering like our children? When they're outright, murdering, doing evil, eating what they want, celebrating. You got Chinese people celebrating the year of the dragon. The dragon is Satan himself, folks. But yet they have power. They've been given power. Why aren't they suffering like us? Psalms 147, let's read it.
Psalms 147, verse number 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
He only gave the laws to our forefathers.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
So the Gentile nations aren't accountable to the law like we are. Because he didn't give the law to Chinese people. He didn't give the law to Egyptians or Hamitic people. He didn't give the law to Ishmael or Arab people. He did not give the law to Esau or white people. This is why they what? They can break the law and still excel. They can excel, not us. We are accountable. When we sell drugs to our people, when we do evil against our people, when we use witchcraft, when we go get tatted up like we're some type of canvas, the Most High judges our children for that. When we walk in an immoral stance, in an immoral way, claiming that, listen, this is my life and I'm going to do my truth, understand, your truth, whatever that is, if it's against God's law, your children will suffer. So that's some of the most selfish crap in this earth, where people believe that they can do something and it doesn't affect the generations to come. And the reason why the Gentiles, and guess what? Even though the Gentiles don't follow the law, they have codes amongst them. Okay? In which there is some level of moral code that will not be broken, and they will enforce it to the death. That means you're not going to see some Chinese guy in China on the corner peddling crack rock. Okay? They will string him up right there as an example. I lived in the Middle East. You're not going to have an Arab on the corner selling crack rock. They will drag him, and they will, not only will they kill him right there, it'll be on the news. They just show him just swinging. But why do they allow this liberally amongst us? If they wanted this stuff stopped already, folks, they could have stopped it in our communities. They could have. But why? Because they know we are accountable. And the account is not just us dying on the spot. They want generational slaves that only comes with us disobeying the Bible. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. We're here trying to say, listen, let's break the generational curses. Stop listening to the outside noise of people trying to make you believe that our position right now is okay with God. Stop listening to the outside noise because they're telling you it's okay, that there's nothing we can do to fix ourselves. And we're coming with a solution. The solution God gave us from the beginning, only to get pushback from the enemy, the same enemy who's benefiting from our chaos and confusion. Elder Lawya, read that again.
Psalms 147, verse number 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation.
He have not dealt so with any race of people. That's why when the other nations come over here, Babylonian, Cushites, East Indians, Arabs, Muslims, even the white man from the Vatican, they'll always put the Bible into question. What we should or should not follow in it. Because they know that they're not accountable like we are. It was through our fall, through us sinning against our God, that the Gentiles gained power, riches, and what? Prosperity under their God, Satan. So it's like that's why they're like, we don't care about the Bible because, hey, we're not accountable to it like you all. So we're here to do what? We're here to dissuade you from actually valuing the book. Assalamu alaikum. We want you to question the book. We don't want you to follow the law because by you breaking the law, you're handing your children over to us for sacrifice. I can continue to make your daughters bed wenches. I can continue to destroy your men and make them effeminate. I can continue to destroy your children in the CPS system and make them orphans and have them fearful out there by themselves without protection so that we can do as we will with your babies. See? Assalamu alaikum. You want a Quran? And then and then people try to empower themselves by saying, well, it's not about a belief. It's about these stupid so-called spiritual people. It's about the universe and the frequencies and okay, where do you learn this from? With no clear path of fix our people. Guess what? I thought that what we wanted in this Bible and what Christians wanted were the same things. And that's the frustrating part. I thought that Christians wanted to better their communities and that they wanted us to come back to the law, to stop the shooting and killing and families being divorced and separated and all this. I thought Christian church was the go-to place to find morality. So when I hear Christians going against us being Israelites, it's confusing to me. Because it's like, only thing we're talking about is a moral code to fix our people according to God. Why are you against that? See? Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Matthew 13. Christ's prophecies concerning the fall of Jerusalem. Let's go, before we go there, let's go to the Old Testament prophecy. And this lesson is titled, How Did We, the Black People, how did we lose Jerusalem? Africa is only an extension. It's only an extension of paradise, of our homeland. It's not the original motherland. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Let's get that in Galatians first, Elder Lawya. Galatians 4. Let's get Jerusalem first. How did we lose Jerusalem?
Galatians chapter 4, verse number 26.
Come on.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
Read.
Which is the mother of us all.
It's the what?
Which is the mother of us all.
What's the mother of us all?
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
And that means that Adam was the beginning of civilization. All this crap you're hearing inside these so-called scientific archaeological findings are a lie. Oh, we found the original bones in Africa. Folks, you found Adam? Where is he? Then they try to, we have done the carbon dating on this. I'm talking about 25 billion years we found the man. And guess what? And then 4 years after that, a lot of black so-called, what you would call Egyptologists and all that who've been using the original man, they fell to admit or fell to say that 4 years later, they said they found a new set of bones who were more so Caucasoid to Mongoloid. That's older than the bones found in Africa. You see how when you follow science and what they're putting out there, it still leads to the white man being what? The father of civilization if you follow science. And I hear black people still talking about this black bones were found, meaning that we're the father of civilization, not realizing the white man found some bones probably 3 years, probably 100 years old somewhere. They probably dug it up from around the corner, probably their uncle or something, and say they found some older bones. Folks, do not listen to the science. The science is a convenient deflector. Okay, they didn't find no bones to say, unless you found Adam, get out of here. Jerusalem is above is free. But the only reason they began to try to give Africa some shine is to get away from blacks saying that they were Israelites. At the same time, another race of people were planning and plotting to get that land, Jerusalem. So they wanted to empower us as a deflection to believe scientifically it was okay to stake claim as Africans without telling our people historically how we ended up in Africa. Africa is not the homeland. There is no original bones from Africa. Africa is the middle passage between Jerusalem and our captivity. That's what Africa is. So when you see people with the red, black, and green and all that, understand, people talking about Africa, the motherland, understand you're dealing with a useful tool. Okay? A useful tool to actually deflect you from understanding that Jerusalem, we are Israelites. We are Israelites. Let's read that again.
Galatians 4, verse number 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
Which is the mother of us all. That's where paradise began. That's where Adam was taken from the dust of the ground, a black man. And the Most High, seeing that he shouldn't be a man alone, and took a rib from Adam to make woman. Woman means from man. Okay, that's not a partnership. That's not any equal footing. That means if it wasn't for man, woman wouldn't exist. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that because it's God putting things back in order. It's the Most High who used men to teach the truth you're hearing today. Not that women don't hold a serious position in this awakening, but it's behind the man the way it's supposed to be. Right? So Jerusalem is above, is free. And it's the what, Elder Lawya?
Which is the mother of us all.
Which is the mother of us all. And let me tell you, and the reason why I'm pointing out that because in this black Afrocentric confusion, there's all types of ridiculous ideologies out there. The black woman is God. Listen, man, if you want to get with the woman, I can understand. That's your game. But come on, dude. Come on. And just like, yeah, I'm a goddess. Hey, yeah. It's utterly ridiculous. The woman has the power to bring forth a child, but she can only bring forth a child through a man's seed. The woman represents the earth. The earth brings forth the seed planted in it. That seed, speaking of now with the same metaphor for people, biology, comes through man. That little thing that wiggles around, thousands of them moving, and it fertilizes the egg. That means man, you hold the baby, but that's that man's seed. So it's still man. That's right. It's man's seed. See? We got to put things in priority, because this woman empowerment stuff that's out there, it's very destructive. And it's not good for women long term. It's not good for them, because they lose their natural place that makes them happy, that makes them content in this earth. And the only thing that can make a woman truly content is a good man. Not your job, not your degrees, and not your accomplishments, and not your accolades you get in this world. Because many women have that and are miserable. Women were made for men, period. Jerusalem is above is free, and read,
which is the mother of us all.
And she is the mother of us all. Speaking of the earth, Jerusalem, not Africa. How did we lose our homeland? The mother, the earth that made the first man, Adam. Let's go into the desolation in the book of Daniel, Elder Lawya. You have something there?
No, sir.
You about to get something? Okay, that's good. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this out in particular, using some history today, is so that y'all can now have your eyes wide open to this campaign you're seeing right now. And now you can ask the question can be answered for you. How is it that something started over in Wuhan somewhere is now isolated strategically where black people live as the issue and the problem? You're going to find out today that what's going on right now is 70 AD on steroids. This is a strategic racial plan to kill off a particular genotype who the devil and his minister understand will one day receive the promises of sons, the sons of the Almighty and our true power. So they're looking to depopulate, to take us out before what? The prophecy. Before the prophecy. And if you don't know that you're Israelites, you're an Israelite, you don't understand the narrative. Because what we're about to read is not talking about, is prophesied to happen to Muslims, or to Buddhists, or to atheists. Because Satan don't care what you believe. If you have the bloodline of an Israelite, you're going to be treated like one way or the other, whether you believe you're Israel or not. So it's about time some of our people open up their hearts and say, well, listen, even though I don't agree with everything these guys say, let me just empty myself for a minute and put myself in that place. If I am an Israelite, what does that mean for me? Just to be safe. Even if I don't believe it, if there's a 3% chance that I might be an Israelite, I need to take that 3% and say, well, listen, I'm an Israelite today, And I'm going to just, I'm just going to take on that title to say, okay, if I'm an Israelite, what does that mean for me prophetically? Okay, whether I believe what these guys are saying or not. Because, hold up, the devil know exactly who you are. Okay? And it's not some belief system you picked up in captivity. You have a bloodline that leads back to the curses of Israel. It was prophesied that you will be taken over the waters and your children would serve another nation. So whether you picked up a BA, a master's degree on this side, you are a doctor, whether or not you're an atheist, a Christian, whether or not you're Muslim, it doesn't matter to him because he understands, the devil, he understands what will happen prophetically if you're still living on the earth with that bloodline. He understands what that means for him. And the Edomites who rule the world, who are Romans, they understand what that means for them. So they're not going to chance it. They don't care what you believe. They have a plan for you if you have that Israelite blood in you. So let's not take anything personal and say, well, okay, today, for the sake of this, I'm going to open myself up. I know I've been taught something when I grew up that, that I believe is true, that have benefited my life. But today, I'm an Israelite. I'm open. What does that mean for me in the midst of this Colt 45 thing that's out there with the military and all that's out there? What does that mean for me if I know I'm an Israelite now? What are the plans the Gentiles have against me with me knowing I'm Israel? Or without me not knowing I'm Israel? Because if I'm an Israelite, it doesn't matter anyway. If they plan to destroy Israelites, they're going to take me out anyway. Right? So open your hearts to receive. Right? Come on, Elder Lawya.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse number 26 through 27. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself.
He shall be cut off, but not for himself. So this is a prophecy given to Daniel that the Lamb without blemish that was prophesied, Christ, would be crucified and die for the sins of our nation. It's whom the earth ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Some people call him Joshua, Yehoshua, but his name isn't Joshua. His name is Yeshaya. Yeshaya, not Yeshaya with an I sound. Yeshaya with an I sound is Isaiah. His name is Yeshua, which is my Savior. Our Savior is his name. Read.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself.
Not for himself. That means he died for us. In the law, it was actually in the law, folks, where once a year, a lamb without blemish was sacrificed for the atonement of the nation. So Christ's death was an atonement or a sacrifice so that we could one day receive the promise of sons as Israelites in a lost land. After losing our heritage, losing our identity, it was prophesied in Daniel that he would be cut off for us. He would die for us, the children of Israel. Read.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
The people of the prince shall come. The prince it's speaking of here is the prince of darkness, Satan. His people are the fourth beast, the Roman Empire, Edomites, who have colonized the whole earth. The Rawchaas. Rawchaa means red child. Red, they're behind the banking system that will lead to the mark of the beast. Rawchaa means red child. Genesis 25 tells us that Esau, the first, came out red all over, like a what? Like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Edom. Another name for him. Let me get it here, if we may. Let's see if I have it here. There's other names for him. Not that. One moment. Here's a book that I actually have that I showed in the academy, where there's this historian who wrote in the early 1900s searching for Esau. You'll see this record in particular when I go into Who's Edom in the academy. As you can see, it says the name Edom may have been pronounced as Odin. The very name Odin may also have been understood like the name Edom, to relate to a world root connoting brown or red as an English word dun. The term Odin was rendered as Wotan amongst the Anglo-Saxons and Scandinavians. The German Odin, however, was different and not necessarily the same as Wotan of Scandinavia and England. Odin in Germany was known as the wild hunter. Esau also had been called a warrior of the hunt. Another name for Odin in Germany was G.O.C.C. This is where you get the word Caesar from, Caesar from, or Caesar from, G.O.C.C. The national god of the Idumeans of Edom, southeast of Judah. Now I have the whole book. I'm going into it, Who's Edom. Like the thing that happened in Germany, that's no different than what we see here. With the Cold War against America, it was two sides, Edom playing with the bad guy on either side for their own narrative to do what? To make a one world order against us. Germans are Edomites. Don't ever believe that there was a battle between the Edomites here in America and the Edomites in Germany. It was a plan where the sympathy that would come when it comes to sympathizing for people who have suffered a serious Holocaust as slaves, that would be overlooked altogether through this new narrative. Germany is Esau. Odin is the god of the Norse people, of the Scandinavians, of the East Europeans. Odin was made a god by Satan under the Greek pantheon. Now I'm going to go into that more, but when it says the prince of the people, it's speaking of Edomites, Romans, and the doing what? Getting their power from the prince of darkness, Satan. Huh? So now we can't talk about our plight anymore and what's going on with us, because you have other people out there saying they suffered something. See? That's why we're not going to align ourselves with any other people's cause until our cause alone is discussed. That's it. We've been suffering since our fall, since the fall of Jerusalem. So I'm not going to link my arms with Asians or anyone else claiming that something happened to them. I don't care who you are. Oh yeah, we say different. All people suffered. No, we don't want to hear that. Okay, we're still suffering by the hands of the same enemy. See, the Bible points them out. That's why they don't like the Bible. See, finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Daniel 9 verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
He shall be cut off, speaking of Christ.
But not for himself.
But not for himself, for us.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city.
Shall destroy the city. That's the Roman Empire. When it says the people of the prince, it's speaking of the principalities and powers of the air. The prince of darkness, Satan himself. When our forefather, Jacob, when our forefather Jacob received the blessing from our father Isaac, Esau went to Mount Seir and made a deal with the prince of darkness, the god of the Canaanites, Satan himself. Our father Isaac told us in Genesis 27 that when the yoke is broken off of the neck, which means when the yoke is broken off, if your children sin, Esau is going to rule. See? He will have dominion. At the very end, your brother will rule the earth if you sin. See? So what happens here? Esau goes to Mount Seir. Genesis 36, he gives his daughters to Nephilim blood to bring forth what they would call the Neanderthal, the Horite, the caveman, the stronger man, so that they can physically have children compared to the naturally strong children of Jacob. See? Caveman doesn't come from some Neanderthal 100 billion years ago. Caveman is written of in the Bible, the Horites who came from Esau dealing with Nephilim blood. And they became cave dwellers, caveman. So that they can have children who could do what? Keep up with the natural strength of our children. So they made a deal with the devil. And the devil said, well, listen, I'll give you technology to go against your brother, to destroy them eventually. But understand, there's rules. These people are protected by their God. You, Esau, must cause them to sin. If they sin, then I'm subjected as their leader. I'm the God that's placed over them if they sin against that law. Esau, you must set up a system, a government that will allow these people to sin freely and will destroy them both at the end. I'll help you destroy the people, and you help me to fight against Christ. Whoa. That was a deal that was made thousands of years ago with Esau, who's known as Odin. Now, we want to bring it up to our current time. Queen Elizabeth of England, who's really a German from the Wesson family. She said her bloodline goes directly to the god Odin, Odin. This is where you get that whole notion of vampire from. Transylvania and all that. Well, really, Dracula is Satan himself. But it goes back to Odin, folks. Odin was the bloodletter. He ruled through murder, through blood, through the killing of others. See? The war god, the hunter. He made an alliance with Satan against us. And this is what it says in the book of Daniel, that the people of the prince, after Christ is crucified, will come against our people in Jerusalem. It was showed to the prophet Daniel. See, I'm going to tell you, the worst thing they could have done, okay, they should have just left us alone. Okay? Because now, every time we speak, we understand it might be the last time. And every time I broadcast going forward, I'm going to be dropping nothing but serious spiritual bombs that will totally destroy the lies that have captured our people. Every time going forward, it's going to be nothing but meat. Okay? Starting now and going into tomorrow. They should have left us alone. All right? Come on, other lawyer.
Yes, sir. The middle of verse 26. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Now, when it says, what? It will end with a flood. The book of Revelation tells us that after we fell, the Gentiles began to flood through missionaries to teach lies and to bring diseases and poisons as a flood against the children of Israel who were no longer protected. Once we sinned against God, Christ was crucified, and now what happens? Jerusalem was taken by the Roman Empire. We got the history. So when you hear about diseases, plagues, and all that, these are all part of the flood they used to attack and to destroy and to kill off a certain population, Israelites. So when you hear choice words, when people say, when we get enough people to get it, oh, we have to deal with the people who are really inordinately affected by it. Affected by what? We didn't hear about none of this in 2019, in 2018. But folks, I have a video that was sent to me that I'm going to play tomorrow in the academy. An original Man in Black. When you see Man in Black with the guy, Will Smith and others, they have real men in black that they actually made that narrative from. Who's talking about everything we're dealing with now and how he was told this in the early 80s, what was going to happen, what we're experiencing right now from his own mouth. I can't play it here on YouTube, but I'm playing it tomorrow on the news. When you hear about diseases and all these stuff, because there's no one being affected by all this stuff, more so when it comes to a disease coming down to the pipeline, it seems like it settles disproportionately within our communities, as if it's strategically aimed towards us. It is. It's called the flood. It's not a flood of water. It's a flood of lies through religion, healthcare, and education. Those three they would use to destroy our people while in captivity. Come on, other lawyer, let's do it.
Verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation.
He will make our land desolate of the people until the consummation. That means all the prophecies are fulfilled, leading to the coming of our Christ. So, folks, the abomination will exist until Christ returns. Stop going to the government and others praying for change in hopes that things will get better. We can only control ourselves and our homes and do what's right to get on the path. This earth will stay wicked and wax worse until Christ returns, and it's up to us to save our children from it. They have ramped up the flood now, and they're targeting now because they know they can't get us. We're hedged by God and Christ. The agreement, if you're under the law, they can't touch you. Okay? But they're after your children. If they can convince their children not to believe what you believe, it doesn't matter. They got the next generation anyway. And that's the inundation we see of the letter people and all this all that stuff you see out there is because they know the time is here. The awakening of the Israelites are here. The prophecy of the consummation that meets the sum when our people stand as the children of God on earth is here. Let's say, listen, let's get rid of them. Let's get their children. Because the rules, the laws of engagement is Satan cannot touch anyone that God doesn't allow. It was our sin where our forefathers gave over their children to the Gentiles for sacrifice. Even when Christ was on the cross and Christ said, on the crucifix, and Christ stated to our Father, Ahia, forgive them for they know not what they do. Even before that, our people said, give us Barabbas and let the sin fall on our children. Crucify him. We'd rather our children suffer than to keep this man alive. Now look at us. We turned our children over to the Roman Empire. And look at us. The people of the prince is Satan. Come on.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation.
Even until the consummation, read.
And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
And that shall be poured upon the desolate. Our homeland is desolate till this day. There is no peace in the Middle East, and there will not be any peace in the Middle East until the Most High bring forth the last judgment. At the valley of Jehoshaphat, that land must be totally destroyed in war before our mother receives us again. And Christ is going to drop the last foot. He got all of them in the Middle East for his reason. They're going to lose their armies when Christ returns. I can't go into that right now. Okay. But this is where they lose the power. So what Esau is doing, he understands that too many people are waking up right now. That eventually he's not going to have enough people who believe in his patriotism and all that to fight in his wars. So now they must move this. Because our people are realizing that they're signing up to join Satan's military. And our people are like, no, I didn't engage myself to go against my own people. I wanted an education. I didn't do this to fight against God in Christ. So now they're in a race to bring one world order where one system is in place where they don't need police or military anymore. Because they can no longer trust the people not to turn against them and choose sides with God and Christ. They can no longer trust the people. And they're going into a robotic stage because people with a conscience will fight against them. This is where we're segueing to. Right? So we're going into the final desolation. So they're in a race for time, brothers and sisters, to implement the New World Order before our people fully wake up, begin to pray to the Most High to be protected. And don't forget, this is not no physical war. It's not going to be physical until Christ returns. But as long as we wake up and come to the knowledge of the truth and teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments, we will be winning on earth the spiritual war. And that's the war that must be won first.